and by sharing the XP and the gold. And as Anilla jungle, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to go for. You want to be as accelerated as possible because you're definitely going to be the primary carry come late game.
Yep. And there's also a chance here for KBG to even pick up the Gwen in the mid lane, give Xiaoma the Zeri after this, just so that they have a lot of ways to counter the Vladimir. And if even they're going to go for another ADC for the side of Trace Esports, they have a lot of ways to mitigate these damage from Trace.
The early game needs to have some power picks here and there, especially for Trace Esports, because looking at how KBG drafted their first 4 picks, like they're really so ready to start this game at 100 miles per hour and will not look back. Okay, that's a very good pick. At least someone that you can rely on during the first few minutes of the game.
Yeah, that's something that they need. They need also somebody that could really help them out. I mean, there's no other way here. I mean, the ore is available too, so that could be a pick. Oh! Wait, are they actually gonna go for that?
Of course, that's not going to be a Garen support, yeah?
An Ornn,
it should just be an Ornn or a Galio.
Oh! No!
You give the counter pick to Mr. Unrun 9. Kassadin will be trying his luck against a Vladimir in the lane. And again, normally if you look at it in a 1v1 perspective, the Kassadin should be able to out-sustain the Vladimir. Not because of the Vladimir, not because, you know, he has his own lifesteal, but you have to remember he has his own magic shield as well. And some innate magic resistance. You look at Unrun 9, Unrun 9 is saying, oh, okay, good draft.
And what I like about this, though, having Kassadin on their side is just gonna make it easier for them. I mean, the mid lane is gonna be a snooze fest for sure, because the Vladimir and the Kassadin is not gonna be fighting in the early game. Both of them wants to get to as high of a level as they can, as fast as they can.
It will all revolve around, of course, their support to make plays for the team. UU special. We have seen him really dictate the tempo of a lot of games for KBG. He's definitely one of the reasons why KBG is the reigning defending champions for what, 3 consecutive tournaments now?
Yeah. And back to the narrative that we talked about, the Ornn and the Volibear being the menace for the side of KBG. Look at what they picked first. They picked the Gragas first because they know that you could perform better on a Gragas more than an Ornn. And that goes back to that narrative back in Season 1.
Exactly. But it's been a long time though. Surely you should have that to the T.
Should know.
Exactly. But there's also the Alistar as an option if he ever decides to go for that champion. That's also one of his premier picks, right? Like almost always going to be very scary to face against UU, and a very early support engager at that. That I believe is also the reason why we're not seeing other supports in the meta, right? Like all those enchanters, even the Janna that was remade. We are still waiting for the day that it will show up. And normally, you know, in a meta that features a lot of AD carries, you would expect the Janna to at least find a way into it. But into the meta, but we're not seeing it yet.
Yeah, I do agree though. I mean, just because of the fact that people, you can really find damage somewhere else in the lane. If we go for a meta where the ADC is where all the damage is gonna come from, that could happen. But for now, the damage is super distributed to everybody.
I love to see it. Priority for Lee Sao. And I believe that he will be able to push down the lane just in time before a potential gap happens. And this is very important if you are watching, or if you want to emulate how pro players does it. You look at their laning phase. How do they manage their minion waves? And you look at Trace Esports and KBG. They're the best at it because they're both from CN.
Yeah, and already starting the fight at the top side of the map, Lisa was able to get a lead strike in order to survive that gank.
Did not even use the leap strike for additional damage against his opponent, and that's crazy if you think about it, right? Because oftentimes, if someone's very low in health, you might just want to add another hit to really get, possibly the killing blow. But Lee Sao just knows that, hey, you know what? I don't have enough damage in me, and I will still be able to use this leap strike to be super safe. Meanwhile, we are looking at Corrin, and that's his first back timing. And Run 9 also wants to back very soon, but I don't think he will have enough time because, again, this is the cannon minion wave.
Yeah.
Oh no!
He would really need to attack. Doesn't know that it's gonna happen. The dash is not enough, and KBG gets the first blood out of that. Wave up, misses from far away.
Wait, what? Yu decided, hey, you know what? How about I gift you a kill or an assist, for that matter, before you go back home?
Yeah. Look at what
that tone. It was actually the tone.
Yeah. Really good start.
It's super crazy, that tone. And again, them flashing just in respect of the all-in coming from Weba. But although I believe that even if that hit, it won't be enough.
Kill Weba.
Yeah, it won't be enough for them to get killed by the Nilla, because Nilla is definitely a late game champion for sure.
Don't really have a lot of damage at the early game. They were just scared of the potential of what the Hemo Plague and maybe the Tides of Blood could do against them. That's why they flashed away in respect to it. And also, Under 9 doesn't have any items that time. Yeah. So now, let's take a look at what's gonna happen to our junglers. We're still waiting for Weba, maybe until the third item before we see him actually pop off. But for now, we're gonna expect a lot of respect from Tracy Esports in the early game.
Yeah, surely, right? Like the early game of KBG, this is very similar to how G2B versus BRU did go in game number 1, in where we saw a very good early game jungler facing against the Nilla of this time the Tracy Esports. And I just cannot wait for you to again applaud one of the picks that I believe you are kind of allergic to last season, the Tones Kazakhs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's last season. Right now, because it's a different meta, I do agree on this Kazakhs pick for the Ton. But also because of the fact that right now people have discovered that Kazakhs has a lot more value when it comes to just securing objectives compared to how it was before.
I mean, even back in the day, in where Coach Laubai was the one piloting, or was the one at the helm, decision making wise, they definitely want the Kazakhs just because of that extra security when it comes to execution of objectives. And speaking of objectives,
what? Corrin flashed in for that. Tides of Blood and Transfusion just for them to push him back, just to delay it a bit so that Weba could take it easily. What a very smart play.
Oh my god!
What's bad about this is that explosive cast coming from Yu, and Tak almost got killed too in the process.
Corrin going in might just be I would say, miscommunication on the part of Tracy Esports. He thought that Tak would go for the Call of the Forge God to try to go for the initiation, because he thought that he had a proper angle. Then again, we're talking about that tone on the Kazakhs. He's one of the smartest players to ever play the champion, and one Void Assault was actually enough to thwart off any of that attempt. You look at that explosive cast, by the way, by Yu. Picture perfect.
Always has been great whenever it comes to the Gragas. Yu has been a really great part of the team that has been giving them a lot of these wins.
Oh, like, I wonder how it feels to play with Yu.
That's true.
This guy will just single-handedly gift you kills, and that's how it's happening so far, at least for the start of this game. Like, sure, like the Tone and Unrun 9 was the one responsible in their kill. Yeah, like
no, Tak, you need to be careful. It's a good thing he doesn't have the explosive gas yet.
As of yet, yeah, sure, right. That was momentarily a possible punish coming from KBG, which is they're very good at.
Yeah, they're so good at finding those errors coming in from the other teams. But now Trace Esports still playing around it. I really love this matchup too. Most of the time, I'm not really sure why, but most of the time when it comes to the Camille matchup, Camille always loses the matchup in the Baron lane every time. Just because you find value in Camille from other places rather than winning the lane.
Yeah, I mean, Camille, yes, a very strong laner. Make no mistake, right? But it's also a champion that if you know how to play against and how to trade against, it's almost always going to be you ending up winning, right? Like, for example, right now, the only thing that you have to be mindful of are the tactical sweeps, right? If ever the adaptive defenses are up, what you would do is to just run away if the shields are up. And especially on the Jax, it's a lot easier to counter a Camille in the lane. So that, I believe, is the answer to your query as to why Camille almost feels like, you know, it's on the back foot at their first few parts of the game.
Yeah, and always the value of the Camille relies on the Hextech ultimatum too, and having that safe laning is almost always the same as what the Jax could do. So it's a very defensive pickup with offensive capabilities on big fights.
And you also want to be get the one getting pushed if you're the Camille, right? Because that will also mean that there's a long lane. Potentially for a gap for your jungler. So that's how, you know, I would think about it.
Yeah, goes in for the Ignite too. On Run 9 doesn't have any vision here. That's gonna be a knockup to punish on Run 9.
And a good flash by Unrun 9. Now, Trace Esports, they still have a win condition, surely, right? Like, they still have Weba on the Nilla. And this Nilla might just be that monster come late game. Will it happen though? Especially against the very decisive team in KBG. They now have the Mountain Dragon to work with. And again, if you are the one to secure the first dragon, the chances are you will have that third dragon win condition for yourself, which is basically a Mountain Soul. And Mountain Soul, for all the squishy members, perfect thing to have.
Yeah, and considering that nobody's stopping this farming happening for Weba, it is gonna be easy to say that he could really get there to the late game. He has the Bloodthirster already at this point. So, and also, with 2 kills on the Ton, they don't really have any difference.
Okay. I have a question for you, Dash. When was the last time that you saw a support running a Quicksilver enchant?
Oh man, what?
Yu has a Quicksilver for his Gragas, which means that he's not going to be disrupted if he ever goes for the combo. Crazy!
What a very smart guy. He doesn't want to be Chain of Corruption so that he could always find a way to start. That's so smart though.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it, but it's all in theory.
If that works, I mean. So if it doesn't work, I mean, it's also okay. Again, it's Yu we're talking about. The Yu special, the delivery that he does. And now they're already starting on the objective. The Ton is really far away from this. 1k HP.
Never mind!
They're able to get it. Oh no! Juju gets it in the end.
And that's mission accomplished for Trace Esports. They need to skadoodle away.
Body slam is gonna be used. Wasn't able to get that because of the silence. And Trace Esports is still gonna follow through, or it's just gonna run away.
Yeah, that's mission accomplished. And on the top side though, KG left by himself. Already was able to take down the tower, and also is stealing the blue buff.
Oh, knockup. Chain of Corruption is not gonna move.
No movement allowed by Trace Esports. No Quicksilver to save himself.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that's true. He's the one who needs it.
I mean, you look at KG. KG also does not have Stasis Enchant. What he has is the Meteor Enchant.
Oh no. That's gonna be bad. At least if ever they always get caught by the Chain of Corruption. Yeah. Right. But if it doesn't get caught by the Chain of Corruption, it's also okay. And he needs a Meteor Enchant to clear waves too.
Yep, 2-1. Kill-wise, again, if you look at this, it's been super slow and steady for both teams. And if you are Trace Esports, you're happy with the pace of how things are going, because you look at Weba. Weba is already 300 gold ahead of his opponent. That's already counting the 2 kills that Atom was able to get for himself. And sooner or later, like his Nilla will definitely be the focal point of their offense. Now has the Bloodthirster, will most likely go for IE next.
He does have it now.
Oh, IE?
No.
And then this is the whiplash that we are about to witness from, once again, the carry jungler from Trace.
Yeah, it all comes down to how KBG is going to be playing this big fight. Yu is going to be the big key here on how they start these battles. They want to start the Baron as early as they can. 12 minutes. This is the baby Baron that we have been talking about. And goes in against Yu. Goes in with a Quicksilver enchant to stop them from pushing through. They get the knock up on the guy, but here comes the on the backside. They got the kill.
KG.
And the Hextech Ultimatum was able to dodge a Chains of Corruption. So this is a chance right there. Shama just dealing, hammering on a lot of the members, and KBG is still chasing down the members of Trace.
Yeah, slows can still happen here, but he doesn't have the upgraded Void Spikes.
Oh, here it comes. Unrunai is going to be here. Is going to be gifted the kill. KG gets the slow and Lee Sao, but no more.
Lots of mobility coming from the team of KBG. You cannot outrun them. They have the Kha'Zix, they have the Kassadin, and they even have the Zeri that can really traverse over the walls, and KBG there to punish once again. It started so well for Trace Esports, right? Make no mistake, right? They were able to kill the Quicksilver Gragas that's not often seen, and you saw the potential of the damage coming in from Trace Esports. You saw the damage by Weiba. You saw the follow through by all the members of Trace Esports. But again, one very timely counter gap by KG. Hextech Ultimatum on towards the primary target was what was needed by KBG.
Yeah, and also for KBG to start that off, that was really interesting that they use a lot of their ultimates just for them to stop. Or at least to kill
I don't understand Tak though. Yeah, okay. Well, Tak was... Had it been the Tak went to the side of Lee Zhao and Weiba, maybe he
could
have survived. He trusted that his Warmogs should be enough to at least, you know, give him enough health to survive that next all-in. But what he did not account for was Unrun 9 being there and dishing out magic damage.
And the damage coming from Unrun 9, we're still waiting for him to get to level 13.
Level 13.
And once he gets that, it's super close. He's trying to get it. Yeah. And yeah, once he gets to the top lane, he's gonna get that for sure. Yeah, he's 13 now.
He's 13 now, and possibly just a couple of gold away from a Rabadance. That's where people will dance to the delight, the damage coming from the Kassadin. Often Dove costs a win, right? Whenever it reaches the late game.
And remember, there's a lot of squishy targets that the Kassadin could just get into. That's gonna be the scary part here for Trace Esports, because if they don't keep the Kassadin in check, they're always gonna be stopped on track. And the only thing that could hold down the Kassadin is gonna be the Chain of Corruption.
Yep. No one else does have enough CC. Unless you can kill him down, which is where all this damage champions can really excel at.
Yeah, and that's the only thing that could really be a threat right here for Unrun. He could just do this if ever he wants to. Goes through the flash. Lee Sao already half HP just after one Riftwalk combo. And now they're going to be chasing down on Korn. Look at this. The fight is going to happen. Lee Sao is going to be running away. They're kiting them out. That's going to be the sound. Almost dead. Lee Sao was pushed back, and he was able to survive still. They got some towers on some lane, but right now this Infernal Drake is going to be taken by KBG.
Clean micro once again from KBG. The ins, the outs, almost perfect, almost a scene from the movies that we often see only in cinemas. And KBG, Weiba though, trying to make something out of nothing.
Having a 1v1 right here, might be able to get the kill, but too much damage right there for Unrun 9. And the precision protocol with adaptive defenses, he was able to survive because of that.
Yeah, and again, that's another buddy down for Trace Esports, and that's also the jungler down, which means that KBG can just posture down the Baron and threaten this take.
For now, look at this. Unrun 9 is just being a menace this game. They can't even answer back because what CC can you do Unrun 9? You need to hit those CCs, and it's super hard to do that against a Kassadin.
Exactly. He has enough mobility, and they're sending two people to go for the Baron.
God is going to be used. Lee Sao has been silenced. They're going to go to the back line. They have Thorn. They have the Sanguine right there. They still get the Baron in the end. They don't have it on their side. Unrun 9 is just stacking up on the Riftwalk, but it's still a win for KBG.
And Xiaoma was unnoticed for the entire duration of that fight, hitting. And that is the late game Zeri that we are accustomed in seeing KBG play time and time again. And now with the Baron buff joining their team, this should just be a methodical approach towards the push down the mid lane and possibly just finish the game. We'll look at that replay once again, and this is the power of the Kazakhs, right? That the best thing possible that you can ask for from a Kazakhs is being able to combine his first skill plus Ace Might. That's just the execute that you want to be extra sure that the objective will go your way.
Really easy to set up too. Weba having a 1v1 with under 9, one more Rift Walk, and that is you gonna be able to get the kill for the team there.
And Corn! Almost, but not quite.
What is that damage from the taunt too? The Void Spikes? What? That is crazy. But now, they're gonna be trying to go for the bot.
Oh,
that's
Unrun?
Gonna be one down. Unrun 9 is being chased down. Explosive Gas is gonna be used. He's gonna be dead. And KBG, without what cost? They lost 2 towers in their game. It's gonna be lost too. What?
I wouldn't follow the camera, man. Like, that's another clean play